Rise and shine every Sunday morning from 10 a.m. to noon with DJ J, Miss Mello, and Lady D on the Outlet.
RC Glocks Up, Liquid Entertainment.
All day.
All day.
Forever. From the beginning?
From the beginning to the end.
Should we put it up?
Should we
Come on now, of course.
You know he always got something at his sleeve.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah, Jay's always
Damn
working
Jay.
on something.
You know what I'm saying?
Yo.
No, Jay's always working on something. Mello say something like, we should do this, and that. And Jay will be like, well, I got it. You want me to?
Yeah, exactly.
You want me to show it?
So yeah, it's definitely.
Wow.
Look at that.
Wow.
What year? What year was that?
Whoever's in
When
tune
did
in,
that
you
drop?
can't see it, but we've got a cover album.
Somebody
That's
said,
crazy.
roll.
We've got the cover album to when Miss Mello and Trucker, Big Truck.
Yes.
Right? That was your. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We had a lot of fun.
That's some good history. That's some good history,
It was a
though.
lot of fun.
But I was saying about how he says he likes to empower people, and that's his motive. I was saying, me and shout out to Calico,
Yes.
Free to Real.
Young Cali.
We were like the youngest in the camp. You know what I mean? Callie was the youngest, and it was me. And it's like we were like the biggest slackers too. So Truck would be like, "I'm coming to get y'all." Like,
Right.
Let's go.
That's a
yeah.
fact.
Like
No
I had a
excuses
car, and he
today.
would still be like, "I'm coming to pick y'all up." Like, y'all need to
Not
be in the
waiting on
studio.
you.
What are y'all doing?
Not at all.
Mind you, I'm in the back seat, like finishing my 16 that I'm supposed to spit when we get to this.
That's funny.
And Callie would always lie. He would always be like, "Yeah, I'm done." He was never done.
Never does.
Never.
1-2 sentences.
Yeah, so
in
I mean that album would
I
have
just
never.
need 5 minutes.
It would have never got done if it wasn't for his motivation.
That's big.
And we got to get this done. We got to get these albums. I never even saw myself ever being on an album. You know what I mean? So
Right.
that's why we're here today, because when he said I'm going to write a book, I knew he was going to do
You knew
it.
it. Was
You know what I
about
mean?
time.
Like some people, they throw those things out there all the time that they're going to do, but you never see it come full circle.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
With Josh,
Yeah,
I
there's
knew it was gonna
the
happen.
doers.
I knew it was gonna happen. I was like just waiting for it to drop, and now we're here. You know what I mean? So
So has
one
that
thing
always
that-
something been that's you've always had that in you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my mother used to instill in me like just a fundamental question: why not you? Right? Like everybody else can do whatever it is that they want to do, but why not you? Like make it personal. Like at the end of the day, if you want to do something, the worst thing you could ever do is feel like you could be great at something and not even try, because then you would never know. It will always be an open question in your mind, right?
Yes.
If you have a great idea, even if you don't know how to implement it, right?
Yeah.
I feel like personally, if you start down a path of just trying to find it, the information will start finding you. And it almost becomes subconscious, right?
That's
Like a good example would even be this book. I was writing this book for a year and a half, right? And then I was getting close to what I thought was the end of it, and I was like, but I don't know how to do the next step. And in my mind, I'm like, all right, I got to figure out how to take it to the next level once I'm done writing. But then I was telling you before, it was this guy, his name is Manuel Godoy, and shout out to him, man. His company is Black Sands Entertainment. He dropped a children's book, because that's his genre, on Instagram, and he got endorsed by Michelle Obama.
Wow.
So I followed him on Instagram, and maybe like 2-3 weeks later, he dropped something saying, I'm doing a free 90-day class. So I signed up. It was like me and like 50 other people. And he literally, it wasn't like for free, not free.
Yeah.
It was like for the free. Like he literally
Right, 'cause
did
there's
not
always
want
another, like-
anyone to pay him for anything. He literally was just giving out the information. And he was like, it'll only take you 90 days to get your book out if you're serious about doing it.
Wow.
And that's what happened. I started it in January, and now it's May, and my book is out. And it's been done-ish for like maybe a month, just making little tweaks here
Right.
and there, back and forth. But yeah,
You
it's
accomplished
great.
it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know you
Super
make your
excited,
mama
now you
man.
got
mad
some
about
people in the
that.
live showing you
That's what I'm
love.
trying to get
Rots in the
into.
building.
Rotten.
Jazz, what up? Luna's in the building.
Luna.
Matt, what up, though? Yeah, you got some love. Sule, good morning.
Appreciate y'all.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
Yeah, man.
So I want to know the inspiration behind the title right quick, because, before folks and nowadays folks aren't just sitting down with books like they
Right.
should be. You know what I
Right.
mean? They're just going to go based off of the cover right now. And the Heartbreak Hotel tells me that there would be some type of love story in there, what have you. So give me the inspiration on the title.
Sure. So in order to do that, I got to go back a little bit, right?
Okay.
So the very first thing I wrote, and I may be giving a little bit about the book, but I think it's relevant.
Just enough for us to bite and want some more.
A few years ago, and Mello, you remember this, like my oldest daughter passed away. And she passed away from cancer. And she was a creative in her own right. She loved poetry. She loved reading. She was always doing stuff like that, right? I hear you, Jay.
Playing the tracks.
DJ J.
I'm telling you.
In the building.
You don't play. You don't play.
I'm telling you.
So when she passed, I actually wrote a poem to just kind of honor her. I actually didn't read it at the services, but I wrote it, right? And that was like the first thing that I had, right? And going through that whole ordeal, like life happens, you have ups and downs. If you don't have any heartache, then you ain't living, right?
Yes,
so
right.
So that was the first thing that I actually had down on paper. And then after that, I started to think about how can I turn that into a scene. Like, I don't even know why my mind went that way, but it did. So then after I thought about that, I wrote a little bit of stuff, this and that, around it. But then I was like, yo, I'm going to write a book. And then I just started writing from there. And then initially, the name of the book was going to be like Daydreams. But then I was just like, I don't really like that. That's whack.
That's probably exactly how you said it.
That's just whack. But then I started just really thinking about it because, like, I try to put myself and God in everything that I do, right? So really, what do people go through in life? So a lot of people go through a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah,
a lot of people go
and the
through
heartaches come in different ways.
Yeah.
It could be a relationship. In your case, it was the passing of a child.
Right.
It could be a breaking of a childhood friendship.
Right.
Loss of a job, whatever.
Exactly.
All of it can. For the heart is always like the number one victim in probably your most riskiest experiences. Like your biggest experiences.
Most def.
Yeah. So would we be able to find some of that poetry in the book?
Yes,
some
you
of
would
that
actually. It's not exactly the poem that I wrote,
right?
But it is similar.
Okay.
So tell us a little bit about Jackson.
Yeah, so Jackson is the main character, right? He's like the head of this.
Jackson.
Yeah,
you gotta say it like that.
Yeah. No, you might be saying it like that. You get through it.
Hey, watch it now. Watch it now.
You know what?
I'm saying, calm down, Jackson.
Nah, so Jackson basically is the main character. He's the lead of this crime organization, right? Okay. Ultimately, like, he's having a struggle with his own morality, right? Like he's doing something to, further himself in the business, but ultimately to his core, he's displeased in who he is at the moment. So he's struggling to find a way to, get himself out of the current situation that he's in. He wants, specifically to evolve into a better person, a better man, and have a better lifestyle in terms of how he acquires that lifestyle. Yeah. But at the same time, he's in love with his lifestyle.
He's pulling him back.
Right. Yeah. So ultimately that's the main character, and you'll see that he actually accomplishes for a short period of time his goal.
Okay.
He finds a way. He gets that deal. He can get out the game. He has it right in his fingertips, and then he gets sucked back in.
And that's so many stories.
And does he have a family that's affected by this?
So his family is actually his team.
Okay.
Right. So there's multiple people in this team. I won't get too deep into that. I'll let you guys figure that part out. But there's multiple pieces to the puzzle there, and he's ecstatic because he's out. I just need to wait.
Yeah.
I'm out. I did it. Dang, right? Gina.
Just wait.
No, but I really think that it is a pretty intense read. I think that it will definitely captivate your imagination. You will go through some emotions as you read through it. I try to make it as realistic and relevant as possible, so that people can connect with it.
Yeah.
Right. And and part of the reason for the name of the Heartbreak Hotel is like a hotel, you're there temporarily, right? So you go there, you check in, you check out. Maybe you're going somewhere else on a trip, you check into another hotel, you check out. But heartbreak always seems to come back around, right? So, and the hotel is what captivates you, right? That's your captivity. So from my perspective is eventually you're going to be captive by something that breaks your heart. But how many times you check in and out of that is totally up to you. So that's like part of the basis of the manuscript that I put together.
Yeah.
And that alone should make you want to go copy it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Really.
Like
yes,
right
sir.
now.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about that real quick.
Not now.
I want to
right
continue as we have this interview. I want to continue to let the people know how they can get the book.
Yes.
Because it's available right now.
Yep.
So we have a lot of people in the live who love you, who know you, who are trying to get that book.
Yes, sir.
So let's go.
Yep.
Let them know how to get it.
So it's basically on Amazon. Actually, and as of this morning, it's also on Goodreads. Okay. So if you're like already a member of Goodreads, you can definitely search it and find it there.
Okay.
You could get it off of my Facebook page if we're like Facebook friends or something like that.
If you're on the live
the
right now,
there.
actually Jay has the actual Amazon page up so you can see it. No excuses. Well, I didn't know how to. It's right in front of your face right now.
You ain't got to lie.
Exactly.
Right.
The link is there in the live. Everybody that's actually on the tune in and listening to us on 94.9 exclusive, it's right on Amazon, the Heartbreak Hotel. Make that purchase.
Yeah,
you know, because we all go through things like that where we struggle to accomplish a goal. You know what I mean? And so many people that are listening right now are just like you.
Yeah, definitely.
And they wonder, how can I make that happen? You know what I mean? There's so many people I know right now who have talked about writing a book.
Right.
So listening to you and getting those steps of how to do it and knowing they can do it is all the more reason.
Absolutely. It's 9 chapters and 268 pages long.
Yes, sir.
So that's a nice day of reading right there, especially because you said once you get into it, it's pretty spicy. I mean, just the chapters alone, to parole or not to parole, that is the question.
Right.
Okay. Can you give us just a little idea of what they are reading about in that chapter?
So at this particular point in time, the main character Jackson, he was so happy to be caught up, be in a situation to, better his life and all that. He's out the game, but then he gets pulled back in, right?
Okay.
And the consequences of that is, he ends up in jail. Like, he's literally locked up. And after a certain period of time, like how the system goes, like you can get paroled and all that kind of stuff. So in this chapter, what's going through his perspective is, am I going to actually get paroled? So the question of to parole or not parole is really a question to the parole board. Mm-hmm. Are they going to let this man, come back into society?
Have a second chance.
Yeah.
Is that really going to happen?
Yeah.
If it's going to happen, then what is my next move? Facts. What if it doesn't happen? Then what do I do?
Yeah.
Like, what becomes of me? Mm-hmm. Like, it's a question of like, what's my destiny from here on out? I don't have control of that. So what is the opinion of the people who do have control of my next steps? Like, it's a whole like
your
thought
life,
process.
basically.
Yeah. So, just being able to connect with that particular, character Jackson, just his mental state, right?
Yeah.
Like, and some people have been through that. Other people may not have gone through that situation, but I feel like it's a bird's eye view into what somebody goes through when they're incarcerated. So,
absolutely. That actually happens in real life where they
all the time.
have to make a choice to do
time.
so or not. And that doesn't really necessarily mean you're free,
right?
Even if they do parole you,
because then you're still on paper, and then you have all these rules.
We know
and
folks that have
regulations.
been in all their life.
And if you live the lifestyle that Jackson has, when you come home, you have a certain expectation of the people that are around you and your team and your family and your friends. You're coming home to those expectations, so that could feel like being in a cage in a sense as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And he's the boss, so some people are probably not even eating if he's not running things.
Maybe.
Ooh, I'm excited. You know, something I know.
You gotta get the book. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get the book. Definitely gotta get the book.
And I love that. I don't know. I feel like there's so much more to you too than just this book here, because when I'm going through the book, Josh, I'm seeing that you're quoting a lot of great men in this book, a lot of great people. I see Obama is quoted here at the end.
My forever president.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
President is black.
He has in here, change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
We're talking now about, changing the narrative for ourselves, changing what our leaders look like in our state and our government, etc. And I feel like Barack was speaking about that on a greater scale. I think that you, on a scale like of the people that you know amongst your circle, you represent something like that.
Most definitely.
Absolutely.
I mean, how do you even get to that greater scale, right? You have to start with 1 + 1.
Facts.
Right? How do you make that kind of change if your situation that you control, you don't believe it in, yourself for yourself, right? It starts with you. Like, it literally, you have to, at some point in time, if you live this life long enough, you're going to confront yourself in the mirror one day, and you're either going to like what you see or you're not going to like what you see.
Yeah,
but
right?
then what do you do at that point?
Exactly.
So yeah, man, I feel like, the things that my mother instilled in me, about, why not you? Like, my kids are not kids anymore. I'm getting close. Get out my pocket.
That's right. That's right.
Getting real close. But I want to be a real life example of not just, this is what I'm telling you to do and you figure out how to do it. I want them to be able to see me as I'm coaching them, because, once they get to a certain age, you're not always parenting them, right? You're coaching them.
That's right.
You have to advise them so
different.
that they can then, take their own actions and consequences and successes based on how they're going in their own direction. But I want them to be able to see that this is obtainable, right?
Exactly.
This is the lane that I'm in, but it applies for all lanes.
Exactly.
If you can truly put your mind to something and you're passionate about it and your work ethic is of such that you can complete it,
You'll
then
make it
don't let
happen.
your laziness, get in your own way. So I believe that wholeheartedly.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're working on part 2 already?
Yeah. I'm already in like the first chapter.
All right.
Yeah,
okay, so we're
got
safe
some
to
new characters
it's like
coming.
those season breaks, that take too long. This will be good then. Yeah, to know that you're already working on another one. And then, Josh, I feel like, obviously you have a whole bigger calling too, aside from being an author. What do you see for yourself, in the future that's next? Because this is going to open up a lot of doors, a lot of attention. Like I said, you're feeding people not just a nice drama, which is always good for people to kind of step out of their own reality.
Right.
And that's what I like about reading books, is that you get to step out of reality a little bit and kind of, fall in love with these characters and create this, fantasy in your mind. But you also have a lot of messages in your book. So what other things would you like to explore?
Honestly, I would love to be able to make a movie. Like,
we were talking about that.
We were talking yesterday, right? So initially, like, as I was writing, because it was my first time writing a book, right? What was in my mind in terms of the format was a movie script. I didn't even know that. Like,
Nice.
I wrote 3/4 of my book as if it was a script.
Yeah.
And then when I got with, the person that helped mentor me, like, with getting the book out, I'm sending different versions of it and getting feedback. He was like, technically this is a script.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa.
Exactly.
I said, well, that wasn't really what I was going for. So, all right, let me change it up. But then it stuck with me because maybe that wasn't totally by accident, right? I feel like looking. I want to see the avenues, right?
It's a sign.
Yeah, it is. Some things are, right? Like, you will never know if you don't try to embark upon it. So, I'm gonna get part 2 out and see where we go with that. But I definitely would love to make a movie.
Yeah. What do you think about, like, how Hollywood is looking different for folks like us?
Stuff is definitely changing.
Yeah. The all black casts that we're seeing a lot more folks. Unfortunately, people that should have been getting awards are finally getting them now, like Regina King and Jordan Peele. Are you a fan? A little bit of Jordan Peele's work?
For sure.
Okay, excellent.
So I mean, it's dope. It's definitely empowering, right? Like,
it makes you feel like there's a place for you there.
So much that's happening, like socially. There's a bunch of wins and losses at the same time, right? But
I don't think you could have a lot of wins without some losses.
Yeah, of
it's
course.
almost like a math. It's the way that it goes.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But no, I'm definitely excited on the possibilities, and I honestly don't know what I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I'm waiting to find out. I'm encouraged to find out. I'm looking forward to finding out.
And if anybody's gonna do it, it's you. I'll tell you right now.
Absolutely.
That's a fact. And I want in on the movie.
Yeah, right.
Not acting. Wait. Rewind. I want to be like co-producer or something. Jay can do the soundtrack. But I want you to show some love. You got some people in the live, so I want you to show some love. That's why I brought this over here. So you got Giuliano listening.
Giuliano, what's good, bro?
Tiffany and Calvin in the D. They copping the book right now.
Calvin was good.
Becky's online.
Becky, Danny, what's up, Danny?
Yeah, Rotten is in there going crazy.
Rotten.
Buki.
True.
Yeah.
What's up, folks? Yo, I appreciate the
Big
love
brother
for sure.
Jose, Ho in
what's going on, bro? I think it's about time for a cookout or something, man. Weather getting nice.
Listen,
throw the burgers on the grill.
We'll
be over. We'll be over right after this show.
That's right.
I'm trying to tell you, man.
We can make it happen.
That's right.
But yeah, so let's take a little break, man. Let's Jay, give us something small. Something small, something real quick.
Give the people a little something.
Give them a little something.
He could just play
Do
one of
not
those tracks.
play a roll call song.
Right. That's what I'm thinking.
Let me make this very specific.
Play one of those tracks.
I can see.
Just push play.
It would be nostalgic.
Exactly.
But
why
not?
Like, yeah. He has like an evil grin sometimes. I know he's about to do something.
The mastermind.
But yeah, everybody in the live, get some questions together for Josh, man. I want to know what's your favorite books, or are you guys interested in books? Have you started reading? And if you haven't, this is your opportunity to get started. Go on Amazon. How much is it on Amazon? Let's
it's $19.99 on Amazon. The ebook is up there for $5.99 as well.
Let's go.
You know, spend
ebook is
that
on there.
on something that's less important. No, seriously, because he's got quotes from Marcus Garvey in here. Like,
exactly.
get your mind right. You know what I'm saying? Man. Like, this is the type of stuff that you need to be spending your money on.
Let's do it, man.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Y'all listening to the outlet. No, so let me ask you, Chuck. Josh, I'm sorry. So used to
Either way, it's fine, man.
I'm so used to, you know how
it's all good.
I want to know, like, what's your schedule like around like your writing process? Like, what do you do to get into the mode of like, hey, this is what I need to do? Like, you have your candles lit, or you like in the dark and you only have one little light that shines down on the notebook?
Right.
Nah, man, I basically write whenever I'm inspired. If I'm inspired, say like if I'm at work and I'm inspired, I'll just put a note in my phone and maybe jot down a couple of lines about what I'm thinking so I don't lose it. And then so like later on when I get home, I can actually write about it. So, I try. The thing about how I'm able to write now as opposed to when I first started this is that I have a framework now. You know what I'm saying? So like I could literally come home, do whatever I need to do, and put some time aside so I could just focus on writing. Before it was just sporadic. It was
whenever
unorganized.
You had time.
You know what I'm saying? And that's how you end up putting it down and forgetting about it because you ain't holding yourself accountable. Like I went through all of those different stages, but now like I'll keep myself on the schedule. So I can't wait. I'm enjoying the ride, but I have so many thoughts on part 2 that I need to get into that I can't literally get into right now because, I'm still going through this process. But I'm looking forward to it.
That'll be a part 2 with you.
Yeah, of course, man. It has to be.
Sometimes people do that with music, like writing music. That's how it is for me. Like wherever I'm at, even if I'm driving, I need to stop and write something real quick.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that one thought could be like monumental to your project.
Right.
What I mean? And then if you don't write it down, then you get home and you're like,
right.
That was an amazing piece that I had, So
what's funny though? Like in terms of music, I don't think I probably wrote 85 to 95% of every thing that I did at work.
I knew you were gonna say.
Because like I don't know, like I feel like I was blessed because I don't know, certain things in terms of, you know, the industry that I've always been in, for like customer service, customer support, you know, stuff like that. Like all that technical kind of stuff is just kind of easy to me. Yeah. So I was able to always prioritize my day as such. Yeah. I'll just bang out everything that they need me to do, and then the rest of my afternoon is just free, and I'm working on
a whole rhyme.
We need to get this mixtape out.
A whole rhyme.
That's great.
Or two.
That's great.
Yo,
I think a lot of people do a lot of things that are non-work at
right.
work.
At work. Yeah, for sure.
All the creative minds are like, let me get this work out the way so I can work on what's real.
So I can get to my full-time
right.
job.
Got to work.
Exactly.
Got all this creativity to do.
For real, man. For real.
But that's cool. That's good. I actually thought you were going to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, little bits and pieces to make the project work.
Yeah, I mean you have to, because if you don't specifically designate time to do it, then it's like you have to try to steal time, and that's hard to do when you know, especially most of us have very busy lifestyles, right? Like we're just going from one thing to the next. Yeah, you know, when you designate time for it specifically, then that's the time that you have, and you can shut everything out and you can focus. So,
I think that's probably the most important part of completing any project. It's just designating the time to do it.
Time
you know what I mean?
Together
I think it's the hardest part too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I always wanted to write a book, but it's like I just never said, you know what, I'm gonna designate this time to do it. You know what I mean? It's like that's hard.
And in the beginning, it doesn't even have to be like every day, right? You can say, all right, I look at my calendar. I don't really have much to do next Saturday, so I'm gonna designate 2 hours next Saturday to get in whatever I could get in, and then, you know, if you relax after that or whatever, but you start doing that, and if you're consistent, eventually you bump up your schedule the more you get it. Because I mean, it's like anything else. Once you got that first little inkling, once you get in it, you just gonna go.
That's true.
Yeah. Even if you put aside 1 hour, it might turn into 2,
right,
3. Yeah.
Then I've been writing all day.
Exactly.
Mad, somebody hits you on the phone like, I'm busy. What do you want?
I know. I'm writing. Gosh, just messed up my creative cheat.
Right.
Yeah. No, it's true, because it's a flow. It's a flow you're getting into.
That's what's up.
Definitely.
What other question you have?
I want to talk about what we were referring to earlier. You're a man of God. Jackson is in the book. And we were kind of just discussing a little bit with the whole Kanye thing. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying he never was a man of God, but, you know, he recently has started doing the, what is he called? The revivals.
Yeah.
Publicly and things like that.
Yeah,
I've
seen that.
It's kind of expanded where he brought it to Coachella. Yeah. And that was like big. Right. You know what I mean? And everybody was like, wow. And then I saw him selling like the Praise t-shirts. Right. And then I saw the price on the Praise t-shirts. Yeah. And then I heard he's trying to open up a church. Right. And then I watched Inside Edition, and they did a investigation into like the televangelists who are living super duper lavish lifestyles, private jets, and things like that, and how much money their members and followers are donating, you know, on a monthly basis. Right. And I was just wondering, like, how do you feel about Kanye's angle right now? Like, do you feel it? Do you feel it's genuine?
I mean, it's a slippery slope, man, because, you know, whenever you're dealing with people, things can fundamentally be flawed because we're just flawed, you know, beings. The one thing that I am really cautious about, though, is like, you have to consider his family, right? Like, these are just my views. Okay. Personally, I feel like the Kardashians are like probably the most successful culture vultures there are, right? Because everything for them truly started blowing up when they started being more into the black community. Facts. Right? It all started with Kim, right? Like, and then, you know, after Ray J, then it was Reggie Bush, and she ambushed his Super Bowl speech, right? Like, to get her 15 minutes in, and then all the way now to where the mom is even with a black guy, right? Now, is it genuinely like love stuff? No one can really judge that, but from my perspective, is they're definitely benefiting off of being a part of our culture and having our cosign.
Yeah.
So, then now you take that into what Kanye is doing now. Is maybe he getting some of that philosophy during that pillow talk?
Right.
Like, he's already somebody, right? He didn't come into this thing at a lower scale, right? He's already somebody. He already has his own influence. But then if you add that mastermind, like if you look at anything that anybody does, in terms of marketing and in terms of supply and demand, like the black community is behind a lot of that. Like our dollar is so powerful. You know what I'm saying?
Very true.
How else can we cultivate that money and get it out? I think religion is probably like at the top 5 of what people invest their money in, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's funny because there's a segment in the book where I kind of talk through this whole like thing a little bit, right? From a church perspective and like where it can go. Like at the end of the day, again, it's all about people. But if you have the wrong person that is trying to do the reach out and whatever their actual goal is, they can end up hurting a lot of people, but benefiting a lot, in a great way on their side financially. So I don't know what he's up to. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like my thing, I feel like the Kardashians in general, everything is a business.
Right.
The way they look at everything.
Right.
That's how I feel. So I feel like at this point in time, you are now treating the church as a business.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're taking away the genuinity of it all.
Yes.
Right.
And what we're here for.
Right.
So I can't respect it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like if you went to church and they were selling the palms instead of giving them out. On Palm Sunday.
Right.
It's like
you
can
had
get
to
a
pay
palm
for your bread and wine.
Right. Right.
It's true.
Well, a $5 donation will put you on our prayer list.
Don't say it too loud. Yeah. 'Cause I'm not surprised. I would not be surprised if it exists already somewhere. You know?
So it's like I just feel like, you know what? I feel like I love pre-Kanye's music.
Right.
Post Kanye, he can just become a Kardashian for me.
He's weird to me.
I'm not falling for your ruses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because everything is a business.
Yeah.
Everything
It's
is
almost
a
like
business.
where Charlamagne came from when he was trying to do a sit down about mental health with black men with him on a forum, and then he backed out of it because he felt like it wasn't genuine enough. Like the message wasn't as pure on Kanye's behalf as it was for Charlamagne. He's like, I need my message to be clear. Right. Like I don't need
Kanye's not genuine enough.
Exactly. Right. I don't.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. Though.
I don't need paparazzi. I don't need. That's not what we need this here to be. This forum needs to be, clear and precise because it's important. It's important conversation. Right. And although I'm not a religious person, I'm a spiritual person. I know that religion and just spirituality is important for people, period. Right. And I do think that Kanye is a troubled soul. Right. I think that I'm not surprised that he's taking on to religion for a form of, right. Hopefully it's helping him out and somehow inside, like what he needs.
I mean, I think it's also helping his image.
But when
exactly.
And it's helping us
I
cleaning
believe
it up.
that we're all troubled and damaged souls.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? So, and we all don't take to doing certain things that might be morally wrong,
right?
Yeah.
To create that to help that damage,
right?
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So I don't respect it.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Because if he's sitting down with the team,
I mean, the whole MAGA
Kardashian team.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a business.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was a business.
Yeah.
You did it for the attention so that you can sell whatever product that you were planning to sell, which now is religion.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, in my opinion,
the one thing that I do, to play devil's advocate a little bit, the one thing that I do appreciate is that, he's putting gospel music on a grander scale, to an audience that otherwise wouldn't be,
wouldn't even
presented
look that way.
with it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So from that perspective, I dig it. But overall, it's just weird to me.
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah,
like
it's a very slippery slope, man.
So weird. You know, he named
and
his...
it's gonna be hell to pay literally if you're like doing the wrong thing for the wrong reason.
That's what I'm saying.
Like
we already
literally.
we already get challenged with temptation here. It didn't make it worse.
Right.
It's just wrong. Just signing up for it. You get the front row in hell.
Oh my god.
It's terrible. It's a shame. I really hope a lot of other people don't go that route. That's just wrong. I would never. Yeah.
Right.
You heard that his new baby's name is Psalm, right?
Yes, I did hear that. Yeah. Interesting.
No, it's not.
It's interesting. I mean, when you're promoting something, you got to promote it all the way through, right?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, wow, you took it there.
He's committed.
You took it there.
Yeah. I mean, when I see the prayer shirts, I was like,
First of all,
but they ain't even hot though. They like
no.
It's
I mean,
the same
who would want to wear it?
dingy,
Yes.
like, ripped up stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
With the
It's like nomad wear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Kanye.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I just
Shame
wanted to
on
see how
you.
felt about that.
Yeah.
Because everybody has their own opinions.
Right.
Yeah.
We could bring you into a couple other conversations. What was another good conversation that we had today about I guess abortion. You're a man. I mean, what do you think about these men making all these decisions for us women?
So my problem with this is that there's multiple problems with this, but the thing that is really like on my mind about that is like I don't understand what the end goal is for this, right? Like, what is the benefit?
They're trying to reverse Roe v. Wade.
Yes, but what is the benefit of doing that, right? Like, is the benefit that because like I think someone was saying like for the statistics, like it's the black community that go through the abortion process more than any other ethnic group, right? But is the business behind this, to make sure they keep having babies and then a large percentage of them keep going to jail and keep, making money off of that avenue, like, what I'm saying, keep for those who are actually empowered enough to get out of that, but to keep them enslaved for their money making ability. Like, is that the end goal? Like,
that are getting prosecuted.
Right, but they just they just
but that's one doctor to how many babies that are gonna have to be forced to be born.
And what is like 3 states now, 4 states now?
And when they say prosecuted,
what does that really mean? Like,
yeah.
I know there was Alabama.
We know what that means already. Alabama and now Missouri.
In Missouri, okay.
I mean, people are openly.
I mean, Alabama
people and getting off. So
Alabama isn't even including incest or rape.
Yeah, it's across the board. It's just crazy to me, man. Like at the end of the day, I feel like it's bigger. It's a big thing, but I think it's bigger than that. Because you're telling somebody that you don't have rights and we can control what you do. Is this the first step to us going to like a dictatorship? Like,
I think that's it. To be honest with you,
you know what I'm saying?
I think that's it. I don't think it's any deeper than that. Any deeper other than, let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? Like that population, the white men. It's a bunch of like old heads, that come from that time, and just wanting control, wanting to be able to have control. Like, none of them feel good.
My thing is
they're gonna come after.
I
feel like if we sleep for too long on what's happening around us, they're gonna try to take it all back. Marriage, same-sex marriage. I feel like they're gonna try to take it all back. They're mad. There's a list on all of their tables, desks, that says what they're going to work on reversing while they're working on getting the right judges in government to be able to pun them off to.
I think that is just, speaking from a black woman, I think it's just the history of America.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, white men have always been in power, and they've always found ways to exert their power and to show us that we're still in control.
Just showing them.
And this is just another way to say, hey, we're still in control. We'll give you a black president, but now we're going to give you an openly racist president. Just so we can show you who's still in control. You know what I mean?
Even that whole process is, I have never ever seen so many people come out and say, I'm going to be the president of the United States. I mean, I think he lowered the bar
we have 23
so low. that literally everybody's like, if this guy can be the president, man, this is a piece of cake.
People quitting their jobs like, I'm going to be president.
Right.
I'm not even working.
You know what?
Right.
I'm just saying.
There's so many different ideas out there. It's ridiculous.
It's true. Yeah, there's 23 now in the Democratic Party.
But how opposite was it? Look how opposite it was. You know what I mean? Like, you went from having the first black president to now
way left.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Completely on the opposite side of the board.
Yeah.
And that's America.
Yeah. Signs of the times, man.
Unfortunately.
This is America. You gonna play that? Take us off.
I had that in my mind. I was wondering if Jay was gonna feel my vibe.
I just played the instrumental.
See?
I just played it. Yeah.
See? I'm telling you, he be on it. Nicole, I want to say thank you for taking the time out, honey. I know a lot of times you guys don't get to tune in. Yeah.
Oh, Nikki. What's up, Nikki?
Thank you.
What's going on, lady?
We got a strong Michigan in the house right now.
Word.
It's going down.
Okay, hold on.
Matter of fact, Jay, can you put that Amazon link back up there so people can see how to purchase Josh's new book? You know him as Truck. But you got to get on Amazon, cop that book, Nikki. Tell Twin, everybody out there to cop the book.
For sure.
Appreciate the love. Appreciate the support. Love you guys.
Cop 5.
All right, we got some.
I'm extra.
We got some folks here already working on getting the book. Yeah, right. Might as well.
That's right.
Yeah,
those are good gifts.
But yeah, so I want you to. We only got a couple minutes left, unfortunately. I mean, we go into spicy time sometimes at noon, so we let a little bit loose.
Hey, Connie, I see you. Yep, we're telling the people get out on the 21st to vote for sure. Now that we're getting into the last couple of minutes of the show, I just want to put that out there. We got you for sure. Go out there and make sure we vote them out.
Got to do it. I'll be there.
Have you always been a person that has participated in the voting process? Because some people,
not always,
because of what happens, gets in it. They don't want to be a part of it. Have you been affected by the political circus that way?
I mean, honestly, I never really cared that much about it. Probably more of just a lack of knowledge and being young. You know what I'm saying? But just as maturing and just seeing the direction the world goes in.
Yeah.
If you have the ability to make a change, if your vote really counts like they say they do, then vote, right? Like that's how. Then I just started voting every time. Like, so I always vote now. You know, because if my vote truly matters, then I'd rather use it. You know, than not.
No different than our dream, right? We go for it, and you never know what it's gonna be until you do it or participate or whatever. So
then you can't complain if you.
That's
know,
right.
If you
can't be a part of the conversation.
Part, right? If you haven't at least got out and vote, then you need to just be quiet and don't say nothing about anything.
I agree.
That was your chance. You blew
it. Yeah. You don't really care. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I gotta shout out my family. They're on the TuneIn app. They're in Houston, Texas right now, so they're listening.
H-Town.
Hey, Sam the Man for President 2020. That's my Uncle Sam.
All right.
Hey.
I'm actually gonna be in Houston on Wednesday, so.
Oh, word?
Yeah, tell them to turn the heat down out there, cause
she forgot she's from the South.
You know what I mean? I'm like, I haven't been
to Texas in a
long time. And,
she's a little spoiled.
That heat is something different, I'll tell you that.
Oh, I bet. I hear.
Make sure y'all cop the book. Kelly, let everybody know how to cop the book, man. That's my little cousin. He is a connoisseur of a lot of things, so he's going to make it happen out there.
True.
All right.
True.
I want you to leave the people with something, man.
So yeah, man, I think I really truly believe that this is a great thing for folks. It is a riveting read. You know, it is definitely a passion of mine, again, to empower folks to do different things. I want people to buy the book to support it, obviously, but also look at this as a segue to say, well, dang, man, like he was able to actually accomplish this. Like, what is it that I can accomplish too? And take that as motivation. You know what I mean? Because I truly believe that, like minds are always together, right? Like, spirits are always together. I'm not the only person in my circle that's creative. I'm not the only person that, feels like they have a great idea. You know what I mean? So
Facts.
get around the people that you have these ideas with, but actually make something happen. We can do it. You know, I have people that been like DMing me like, congratulations, I don't know you, but how did you do that?
I love it.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm just giving everybody the game. But definitely, like, in terms of the book itself, it is definitely, you know, a great read. Once, I promise you, once you pick it up, halfway through maybe the first 3 pages, you are going to be locked in.
I can't wait.
I've actually read those few pages.
You know, thank you for all the support. You know, thank you to you guys for allowing me to come down here and use your platform to, you know, to promote this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully I can come back and we can do something else like sometime in the, you know, near future.
Part 2's
Well,
coming.
once
yeah,
it-
man.
and
Yeah,
The
man.
movie's coming. Part 2's coming.
Yeah,
The movie's
man.
coming.
And once everybody has their copies, you know, a nice signature from you wouldn't be too bad.
Oh, definitely,
so
definitely.
maybe, you know, some type of book signing would be dope, where you could talk a little bit about what inspired the book and everything in person.
Most
Promo has
definitely.
begun.
Yeah,
Yes.
there we go. That's it.
Day
Hit
one.
the road, Jack.
Just some shout outs. You got a lot of love. Just some shout outs to everybody that you want.
Cameras
whoever
right
you wanna
there.
Shout out. Cameras right there.
They see
I want
you.
to shout out your wife, Melanie.
I love it.
She's camera shy.
I know.
Behind every great man.
She knows
Oh,
me.
yeah.
I had to put her
Behind
on the
every
spot
great
in a
man.
little bit.
Oh,
I had to
yeah.
put her on the
Alright.
spot just a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Just a little
I,
bit.
yeah.
I read your dedication to her here in the book.
Yes.
That's what's
Yes.
up.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
No, she's
beautiful.
definitely my number one cheerleader. You know what I'm saying? She always supports me. You know, she's very critical as well.
That's good.
Say,
Got
this
you.
doesn't make any sense. That's whack. What were you thinking?
Need that.
All right,
Need
babe.
That. Need that.
No, but shout out
balance.
to you too, because you helped with one of the character develops. You know what I'm saying? So, you
All
know.
right. Let me tell you, Mello's
You know.
brain is just
Oh,
full
man.
of jewels.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
We talked
So
about what
if
we're gonna
you
do next.
if you see like in the dedications, there's dedications to the squad as well.
Oh, that's what's up.
But I didn't use your aliases, and I did that for a reason.
Okay. That's what's up. That's what's up.
We going somewhere with this thing.
Yeah,
This
we're
is
going
not just for me.
right.
This
Shout
for
out to
us.
squad, man. Shout out to
Oh, I
squad,
love
man.
that.
Be the real, man.
Yes,
Not
sir.
just for
R.I.P.
us.
D Block, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You guys don't go anywhere. We're leaving. Actually, I need it. I need to go home.
we might
My
have a little
fever,
bit of
I think,
spicy
is starting
time,
to
you know,
fill.
We got a little bit of spicy time. Jay's gonna turn it up just a little bit for me.
All
That's
right.
it for me.
Make
yeah.
some chips then. I need something in my system. I'm so sick.
Yo, so shout out to you, Josh. I love you
Appreciate
to
you.
death, big bro.
Love you back.
Big places you're going. I see them already.
Yes, sir.
I told you before when you told me you was gonna write
Nikki
the
said
book.
so. She's not
I
in the
knew-
book.
What she say?
Well,
in the movie. Nikki, for the movie, baby. Get ready for the movie, honey.
Well, it depends on how you envision it, right? As
Right,
you
yeah,
reading
you're
it,
in
you
it.
could be in the book.
You might be
like
yeah.
that might be you.
See yourself in the book.
She is crazy.
That was great. That was great.
She goes. The live is out of
I
control.
think that question was serious. I think she was serious about that.
Yeah, I think she was like,
I don't
wait,
think
I'm
that
not.
question was. I don't think it
Where's
was a
my
joke.
character?
I don't think it was a joke.
I'll
Right.
write you a book, Nikki. Okay, I got you all day.
Hold her to that. I know I would.
Make sure y'all cop the book, Heartbreak Hotel. You're listening to the outlet. Stay tuned for a little bit of spicy time. DJ J, Miss Mellow, Lady D, Josh Conley in the building.
Yes, sir.